God. That did not go to plan. Right guys, welcome back to the channel. Today you join me from the driver's seat of a 609 brake horsepower XFR. Massive thank you to Darren for letting me take his pride and joy out today. I am so excited to be driving this thing. The supercharged Jaguar is one of those things I wanted to tick off my list. And this is actually, believe it or not, the first one I've ever driven. The first Jaguar I've driven since the F-Pace or something like that. Some truck thing I did many, many moons ago. But this is a real Jag. But let's get on the road. Let's see if this can hustle through the B roads of the UK. I think it can. But let's find out if it can. Let's do this. So what we're working with on this one is a 5-litre supercharged Jaguar motor up front. Pretty good effort, if I'm honest. Supercharging a 5-litre engine and putting it in the XF is a really good idea in my books. I like it. Now, competitors, yeah, you're going to see the M5 crop up in a couple of other videos you're going to see on the internet. This is a modified one though, so it's had a few things done to it to take it from its original 510 brake horsepower up to its 609 that this one has right now. Aspire's exhaust system, now this has a D-cat with no centre boxes but with back boxes, so it does retain some refinement and Jaguar appeal, but it has that raspy V8 sort of blah, 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 blah. You know, that bit, yeah. It sounds proper good though. I love how this thing sounds. You can't really hear too much supercharger. I'd probably like to hear a bit more, I think. Darren, the owner, would definitely agree with that as well. It needs a bit more supercharger. With the exhaust system, you have a Swallows remap to push the brake horsepower up, including some K&N air filters and a 7% reduction on the supercharger pulley. I think that's really where the power increase comes from though, is with that reduction in the pulley. It still blows my mind that you're able to get another 100 brake horsepower out of these things from basically swapping out a smaller tensioner, air filters and an exhaust. That's literally all that's been done, and then you've told the car to go faster. That's all that's been done to this, and you're 600 brake horsepower in this XF. That's madness. But what does that equate to when you're actually driving it? Do you get thrown around? Is the 2-ton car, you know, still heavy even with the 600 brake horsepower? Jaguars of late that I've driven haven't been exciting, but they've all been diesels. Every single one has been a diesel. Never jumped in an R. Just to 205 GTI, lad. But yeah, something that I've wanted to drive for a while, let's just say that. But I want to drive everything, you know how we roll. Right, so I'm going to start by putting this thing in its fastest mode. So you put sport in the little turny Jaguar-y thingy, which is really cool, but I keep on thinking it's the infotainment system here, which I, you know, having my X6, that's where the infotainment system is. But that's where we select transmission. So we put that in sport, and then we press the checkered flag button, and it comes up with a checkered flag with your gear selection as well in the center screen. Now we're going to go through some twisties, just see what it's like, because I want to know if it really can handle this power in something this large. Now gearbox is sharper in this mode as well, and the exhaust system is the same loudness. There's no baffle, you know, change in you going into this checkered flag mode. But can it get through the twisties? That's the next thing. So second gear changes down very, very quickly. You can throw it in that back end. I am going to be keeping the ESP on for this. If I'm honest, it's a dry day, like 26 degrees, but this back end, yeah, wants to just come out. I think that's quite a good thing though. This is a fantastic drift saloon if you do want one. It will 100% go sideways very, very quickly. even in third gear, it will quite happily break traction. Now, I do think some Jaguars do have a whiff of old man about them, don't get me wrong, and I think we can all agree with that. But with this satin grey wrap that's been put on by Monster Wraps in Southampton, done a fantastic job. It glistens as well. It's not quite satin where it's flat satin. It's like a glittery satin, if that makes absolutely any sense. But it does look so awesome. It makes this car look so much more brutish, I think. These do look good from the factory, but in the black that this one was spec'd in, it does hide the bulges a little bit, especially in the bonnet and the supercharged lines and stuff that these things have. It does unfortunately hide because it was black. Now it's satin grey though. You can see the width of the bulges, you can see the lines coming over. I have to point out, my favourite part, inside, Alcantara headlining all the way down, honestly, Jaguar. Whoa. It's just so not like you could sleep on it. Like, you don't want to get distracted, but like if you just stroke your hand, it's just the nicest material ever. They've even done the sun visors. I mean, that is just perfection right there. So guys, finding some rather majestic landscaping behind me, let's check out this XFR. Now, coming to the front of this car, well, can I just stop and say, this colour with the lines and especially the front of this car looks so good in this colour. I have to point out this wrap though does have, I don't know if the camera's going to get it, it does have sort of a metallic look to it, as if it is factory paint. Such a cool look, but you've got to admit this looks just mega in this colour. Such awesome lines really shown through this colour. Coming up the front, this is a pre-facelift one. A lot of people, especially Jaguar enthusiasts, don't really like this shape. I actually appreciate it a lot more than the facelift one, mainly because of the bulges that you get on the headlights over here. So you do get a better line, especially coming up this front. Just looks a bit more aggressive from the front end, in my opinion. I know a lot of people probably won't agree with me. They prefer the facelift front to this one, but I do really like this. Now, this is a 2010 car, so yes, it is the pre-facelift. Coming up front though, it does have these awesome factory bulges with these air vents with supercharged going up the side, so you know she's supercharged. Coming up, the line carries on over the bonnet, looking so good. Coming down, you do have all of this, which is usually chrome, all in gloss black. This is usually gloss black anyway, but these have been gloss blacked, as well as the little ducts down here as well have all been done in black. The black front goes with the washer jets that have been done in black and these vents that have been done in black. Coming down the side of the car again, black wheels with these huge brakes. These are 20s and they feel, the brake caliper at least, feels the 20-inch wheel, which is a pretty awesome thing. Coming down the side, this has been done in black as well, but the Jaguar logo has been left in chrome. And you retain the factory black mirrors with the black roof, sort of a contrast. And coming down the side, all of this has been gloss blacked as well, to go with the sort of grey and black theme on this car. Coming to the back of the car, swooping down, I do really like the lines on this. You have the back end, which has again been done, all this in gloss black spoiler, just sort of complements the back of the car. It does have the XFRS diffuser on the back as well, which I really like. That's a definite upgrade that any R owner should do, in my opinion, is just put this here. Looks so much better than the original just blank sort of look to the back of this car. As we are at the back of the car, this does have the Spires exhaust system on it, which consists of a decat, complete center section delete, and then some back boxes at the back, which looks really cool. It's got an aftermarket sort of look to the back end, and obviously the sound is biblical. Now, jumping inside this car, it's a very nice place to be. I do genuinely like it. You have leather on the dash, you have some sort of wood in the center as well. All the buttons, you know, slightly dated, I suppose, but do their job. What I pointed out already in this video is the headlining is all Alcantara, and you could just sit here for days just stroking it. It's so well done as well. I mean, all in here, all on the sun visor. It's a very nice place to be just because of the roof. But the starting procedure is probably the best part in here. You put your foot on the brake and the start-stop button starts pulsing. I really like that, as if it wants you to start it. When you do start it though, at least the ignition Yes, that is awesome. If you did not know it did that, that's probably the pièce de résistance of the interior. Including which, when you do start it, the transmission rises to you. Awesome. It's such a cool thing. But let me turn it off. This raising of the transmission selector is one of those things you've really got to watch out for in these. Owners have been saying, especially of the diesels, which are used a lot more, let's say, of this not rising up and then not switching into gear. So if you are looking for one, just make sure it actually goes into gear. And in the back of the car, I've got my seat in my stupid position. So that's sort of, it's good. There's a lot of room in here, but if you are trying to gangster lean in the Jag, you're gonna have a problem. More than enough room for all the girls that you're gonna get in here, because you're a Jag owner now. Girls love Jags, maybe, I'm not really sure. Cup holders in the armrest as well. One's bigger than the other. Not really sure why. Cool idea though, Jag, I like that. Going sideways, you do have enough support. You do have enough support. You even have knee support. See this? This is a knee support for when you are sideways. Ah! Yeah, that works, that does. And as you can see, the boot space is really good in this. Although you've got a small entrance into the boot, there is actually more than enough space in here for, say, a man to get in and out of it. Oh, that is quite hard though. It is quite hard because this bit here, same as my old Lexus actually, it's not actually that big, but the boot itself goes so far back. Coming under the bonnet though, you do have the 5-litre supercharged Jaguar engine, which is sick, full of plastic, so I can't really show you anything other than it's got K&N air filters, it has a pulley somewhere, 7% reduction, and it's harnessing 609 brake horsepower. All in all, colour, looks, power, everything you could ever want in your supercharged Jaguar. The fact that these do so much depreciating means that the used car market, especially the market that I try and, you know, pursue my videos for, this is it. This is value for money, because in reality they are ridiculously cheap considering the list price of these was just mind-boggling. Going back to that engine though, has all of the torque in the world, it feels like, because it is throwing you at, I'd say 3,200 RPM. I'd say this thing really gets going, punches you and is relentless into the next gear. Not really like any other sort of big car, you know, E60 M5, let's say. Yeah, not from the same generation, don't get me wrong, but you are screaming round, whereas this has the low down torque that I think you sort of want in something big like this, because yeah, that gets going. Yeah, I believe the 600 brake horsepower, that shifts, and in third gear we definitely had the ESP come on constantly it comes on. The power is incredibly fantastic in this. It does feel factory though, like it's supposed to be doing this. It isn't really squeezing a lot of torques and BHPs out of it. It's actually quite comfortable to be completely flat taps ragging, because it's not really trying still. Here's why. I feel that these cars are not dumbed down, but like tuned down from the factory. So especially with this engine right now, at the peak that it's at, it's happy. It's not at its peak. It's its peak of, you know, performance without going completely silly and being, you know, unreliable. So at 600 brake horsepower, this car's quite happy. It's actually a very happy power. It's not dumbed down. It feels really, really responsive. That engine needs to be opened up. It needs the breathing system from the exhaust being cut out. It needs better air filters, and it needs that pulley really as well. I think it just makes more of what it's got. So what are my overall thoughts on this Jaguar XFR? Well, I'm coming away from it knowing that I am fulfilled in the fact that this 5-litre supercharged engine is tunable. You know, from factory, 510 brake is a good effort, but you stick 609 through it, you know, 100 brake more from the factory, it becomes so much more alive. These are not necessarily dull, but they're not what people are talking about. They're not what people are wanting. And that got me questioning why people weren't one of them, why people were going for the M5s and, you know, various other saloons of this sort of power and age. And I get it, I do get it. But I get this as well, and I understand completely after driving it around for the last, 3 hours, just enjoying it, putting it every mode, putting it in, situations that you wouldn't usually find a big saloon car in, round the B roads, round just town as well. It's such an easy car to live with, and the fact that I can select my cooling seat there, just cool my bum a bit, is so cool. I missed cooling seats, and this is the first car I've really jumped in saloon wise that's had that, and I don't know why every saloon car doesn't have that. It's such a good idea. This car makes me bite my lip every time I put the bloody hammer down on it. It's so infectious. I'm so excited that Jaguars are this good. I genuinely, coming into this, thought I wasn't going to be that impressed. I knew that they were good. I knew the R's were good, but this is a little bit better than I was expecting, and I really, really appreciate Jaguar for doing that. But it's because it's modified, and because you've modified it, it's brought the most potential out of this engine, this car, the noises, the everything. That's why I like this one. It's because it's modified, and I think if it was standard, and I've heard standard ones, and if it's any less power than this, then I would have probably come away with a little bit of a, I thought it was going to be like that. Slightly lit my trousers on fire, which is a good thing. It's a good thing. And it does hustle through the B roads. I knew it was going to. I had this feeling that this car was going to be good. 2 tons. It's going to be hard for this to actually, be good around, the English roads. It's going to be fantastic on the motorway, don't get me wrong, but where you actually want to enjoy this, it brakes traction fantastically. Doesn't step out though, which is a big thing. Yes, you want it to step out. Oh, we love drift cars, amazing. But on the road, when you're actually going full pelt, you don't really want to be going sideways into a hedge. So this does actually let you slip a little bit. It lets you slip a little bit, which is really good, but then it doesn't slip so much that you land in a school bus, which is not what anybody wants. And coming away from this shoot, I know full well that the Jaguar Rs, especially the XFR, which is now becoming incredibly affordable thanks to the depreciation of Jaguar, which is a good thing. It's a good thing because for us, it means we can afford these cars that, we never thought we'd be able to afford when they came out. These were hefty price. They were a hefty price. So now you know that you can jump in one for X amount. Look on Auto Trader, you know exactly what I mean. And you're sort of driving something else that other people aren't. Everyone else is getting in the M5s and the, various other E63s or whatever from the same sort of era, but no one's really getting in these. Although the other Germans are good, they're fantastic cars. This has a little soft spot in my heart now, and I'm glad it has. It's become the car that I wanted it to be, but I am underlining it's because it's modified. The only reason is because it's modified. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you did like this video, please check out fydapparel.com. Cop yourself some FYD merch. That's how I'm able to produce these videos. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers, guys.